Welcome back, guys. It is finally time to shoot some 9mm plus Ps with these gold dots that I picked up recently. These have been hard to find as of late. I had some last summer sometime. We shot here on the channel, and I finally started seeing these on the shelves again, so I guess they released a bunch of them. But yep, we're going to shoot 124 grain gold dots in 9mm, and we're going to try and load them up to plus P velocities. I picked up a couple boxes of the factory ammo. Picked up some of these, yeah, these are the standard pressure 5.3618s in the law enforcement 50 round packs, and also got some plus Ps, the 5.3617s. Here's the problem. This is not the first time I've tried to start making this video. I actually started it several weeks ago and got far enough to where I actually shot some of these guys over the chronograph. And as you'll see, half the box is gone. Same thing with those. I got very strange readings. The plus Ps were actually slower than the standard pressures. So that kind of, yeah, I just bought the chronograph I'm using. So I wasn't sure if I had something screwed up with it, but I don't think I do. We're going to retest here in this video. Actually, it may be the next episode because, man, I'm all over the place here. Let's step back here. And the other reason why it's taken me so long to get this video started is that it's going to be a lot of information, and there's a lot I want to cover, and trying to get it straight in my mind and ready to cram into one video has been difficult. So I've just decided to make a couple videos. We're going to make a little mini series out of this. Here in the first video, we're going to talk about things, and the biggest thing in this video is going to be powder selection. I want to talk about powder selection quite a bit because that's really the biggest decision that we're going to be making through all of this, is which powders we want to shoot. So I want to pick some powders, load up some initial test rounds just for some velocity testing with those powders, and I want to do some velocity testing with these guys. The testing I did before, it wasn't that weird. I think, man, I should already have this up. Yeah, let me pull it up here real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I wanted to pull up the Speer website and get the velocities. The standard pressures are supposed to be 1150, and the plus Ps are supposed to be 1220. And that's out of a 4-inch test barrel. Just so happens, our test gun is going to have a 4-inch barrel. This is my Glock 19. You know, what else would we test with? So this is going to be our test gun, 4-inch barrel. That's what Speer's data is, and it's 1150 and 1220. When I tested these through the chronograph before, the plus Ps were a little under 1200, so they were a little slower than they were supposed to be, but the standard pressures were over 1200. So it was almost like they're backwards. And I was very careful, like, you know, the plus P is right there on the head stamp on the case, so I didn't mix them up. We'll see if I see the same issue this time, but yep, we'll be testing that. You guys know, if you've watched my other videos, I'm not big on the safety lectures. You know, nothing makes me flip past a YouTube video, a reloading YouTube video, faster than some pretentious 20-minute safety lecture before, you know, they get to the point. But I feel like this is, yeah, I'm kind of going to have to do that in this one. You could follow exactly what I do in this video and still blow your face off. Plus P is higher pressure than standard, right? That's exactly what plus P means. A lot of guns are rated for plus P ammunition. But what you're not going to find is load data for plus P stuff. And if you do, it's very few and far between. You can't just pop open the Speer manual and get you some plus P 9mm loads for these bullets. You get standard pressure loadings. So we're going on our own, man. And that's the point you need to get to before you undertake something like this, is the way I see this. I have shot thousands of rounds through this gun, and I've shot hundreds of rounds of factory plus P ammunition through this gun. I have full confidence in the gun. I know that Glock did their job, and this guy, if something happens here, it's not going to be Glock's fault. The powders we're going to be shooting. I've shot, well, there's one exception, but all the others, I've shot the powders before at normal pressures. I know that I don't have some goofy lot number of powder that's going to, give me unexpectedly high pressure. So the powder manufacturers are off the hook. I've shot them all already, so that's good. The primers, I've already shot these primers. So it's all on me. And that's the point you need to get to before you undertake something like this. Is I've tested everything before. I'm comfortable in my process. I know exactly what's going on, and I'm ready to push the envelope and take responsibility for what happens. So that's the safety lecture. I apologize. I like to work from the assumption that my audience is very smart, because they are, and there are some frickin' dingleheads out there. I know that, but I'm not going to talk to those guys. I'm going to talk to my normal smart people audience. But I felt like a little bit of safety warning here. Maybe you don't know that. Maybe you're just getting started, and you don't realize what sort of risks we're taking here. God, I'm just babbling and rambling and all of that crap. All right, so I'll tell you what. Let's get straight into this and talk about powder. So the first thing I did when I decided to undertake this, I grabbed all of the pistol powders I've got on hand that could conceivably be used in 9mm. Started trying to whittle down, to what would work best for this application. I've got an application called Quick Load. It's I've got an older version, but it's still pretty useful. It's a ballistics calculation program where you put in lots and lots of information, or you can put in lots and lots of information, and run these scenarios with different powders and see how they perform, what their max velocity is before you reach maximum pressure, and that sort of stuff. So that's basically what I did. Is I grabbed all of these powders here and started running them through Quick Load, which Quick Load does have the Speer Gold Dot bullet, so that part was good. The of course I could put in that I have a 4-inch barrel, and then just start going through it. Now, because my version is old, some of these powders weren't in there, so I want to eliminate a few of them right here off the bat, whether or not they're useful for high velocity loadings like we're looking to do. It doesn't matter. I don't have quick load data, and I want quick load data before I go forward. I've got plenty of options, so there's no reason to use one that I don't. So the first is BE86. It's a newer powder. I think it's in this kind of power pistol / unique range as far as burn rate goes, but I'm not certain. And I'll tell you now before we even get there. Unique and power pistol are a couple powders that are great for, for high velocity loadings like we're talking about. But BE86 goes off the table. Winchester WSF, which I thought had been around a while. Whatever. It's not in Quick Load, so it's coming off the table. Winchester Autocomp. I believe it is newer, so it's not in there. It's off the table. CFE pistol, unfortunately, not in there, so it comes off the table. And I think that's it. Yep, so that covers it. And I've got all of these arranged from fastest burning over here with Bullseye down to slowest burning down here with like Alliant 2400 and Hodge the little gun. I'll spoil it for you. They're not, they burn way too slow for this sort of work. But, so let's rearrange here so we can get a better view. All right, that's a good looking family portrait. So in the, kind of breaking this down to the simplest form, a fast burning powder, the pressure spikes too fast. You can't get enough powder to get up to the velocity because it burns so fast that your pressure is going to spike. And a slow burning powder, like I don't know, this guy, Reliant 2400, it burns so slow that, for one, you run out of case capacity where you just can't cram any more powder in there, and the powder you do cram in there, you end up blowing a bunch of it out the barrel unburned. So that's kind of what you're dealing with. Fast is too much pressure before you get the velocity you're looking for, and slow, you either run out of case capacity or you just blow unburned powder out of the barrel. So somewhere here in the middle is a good range of pressure curve and case capacity. So that's kind of what we're looking for. So I took these powders, these exact powders right here, and ran them through quick load. And I want to show you what I came up with. I don't really have any better way to do this other than like a screenshot of a screenshot of a spreadsheet. So on the far left is their number on the burn rate chart. That's how I've got them in order. So from the Hodgson burn rate chart, Alliant Bullseye is number 13, all the way down to Hodgson Low Gun is number 62. And obviously there's a name. You know, the name and this charge. So what I did in quick load was I set it to 9mm plus P. And that changes the maximum pressure from 35,000 psi up to 38,500 psi. So, you know, a 10% increase basically. That's plus P is 38,500. So this charge column, what I did was I just bumped up the charge in quick load until I got to the highest, you know, tenth of a grain that didn't reach 38,500. So, and and that's what I came up with. And for overall length, I went with 1.120, which is Speer's recommended overall length for these bullets. And I actually haven't measured. We'll measure the factory ammo here in just a few minutes to make sure that that's about what it is. But from everything I read, that's what we'll find in the box as well. And playing around with quick load, that's where you really start to see how huge a difference a little bit of overall length can make. So that was very important. One thing you've got to be very careful about whenever you're looking at stuff like this is there's a whole world of people out there shooting very high pressure 9mm for competition reasons to reach major power factor in 9mm. And they've got hot rod guns and hot rod, you know, barrels that have chambers that can handle this. So anytime you're out doing searching around, you need to make sure that anything you're reading, they're talking about standard chambers, they're talking about standard guns, and they're not talking about, you know, hot rod competition guns. And those guys, they even go, you know, they stretch out the overall length as much as they can to really pack in as much powder as they can. So there's a lot of tricks out there to get extra velocity out of 9mm. You've just got to be very careful, you know, at what information you're looking at. So we're going to try to stick with the standard 1.120 overall length that Speer recommends. You know, if we stretched it out a little bit longer, we could find out, you know, how much longer our gun could tolerate, and maybe get some more powder into these guys. But we're not going to do that unless we absolutely have to. And I would really not rather not do that. So that's what that charge weight column is where we reached our pressure. The velocity is the velocity that charge weight got us. The percentage of case fill is the percentage of case fill, and the percentage burnt is the percentage burnt in the barrel. So, one that really jumps out at me immediately is Bullseye, right? It's supposed to be the fastest burning powder here on this on the table, but we were able to get 1,200 feet per second out of it. That really shocked me. 96% case fill, 100% burnt, and we got 1,204 feet per second. I don't buy that. I don't know if that's, yeah, I don't know. I can tell you one thing for sure. We're not using Bullseye, and you shouldn't use Bullseye either. Same thing with the next two, Tight Group and HP 38. These are fast burning powders, right? Like, well, especially like Tight Group, you know, a little goes a long way right there on the label. This is a low volume powder that burns very fast, and it's meant for accuracy, excellent accuracy, and economical shooting, right? I mean, when you're, yeah, you get a lot of shots out of a pound. So these first three, Bullseye, Tight Group, and HP 38, they're just not a good choice for this sort of work. And you can see the max velocity that they got whenever we you know, hit that plus P maximum velocity or maximum pressure threshold. Tight Group was only at 1,094 feet per second, and HP 38 was at 1,136. So those top three are going off the table because they're just, yep, they burn a little too fast to get up to the velocities we're looking for. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and just take them right off the table as we talk about them. Now, we're getting down into the good ones. Unique, Power Pistol, HS6. We're going to come back to these. Silhouette, we're going to come back to it. Let's go all the way to the other end. And these, to be honest, I just ran them just to show you how ridiculous it can get. Here's Low Gun, not a 9mm powder, but I wanted to just run it to see what it came up with. 10.5 grains. Only gets us 1,087 feet per second, 134% case fill, and 51% gets burnt. That's a lot of powder heading out the barrel unburnt. So, Low Gun, off the table. You really even shouldn't use it for 9mm. Alliant 2400, same thing, 65% burnt. It got pretty good velocity. Now we're getting into the range where I guess we could stuff enough in there to where we got up the velocity. I mean, it got 1,1211 feet per second, but that's at 128% case fill. Yep, we're not going to be using 2400. And I ran accurate number 7 or number 9 as well, just for kicks. And it's the same way, 67% burnt. Now, we get down to Longshot, or we get up to Longshot. This guy got us 1,200 feet per second, 84% case fill, and 94% burnt. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Because, well, I'm very rambly in this video, but that's fine. We were talking about it earlier. The standard pressure Speer factory ammo is 1,150 feet per second, and the plus P is 1,220. Right, Speer Gold Dot's pretty much the most popular law enforcement ammo out there. You have to assume that they load to the velocities, or they designed the bullet to the velocity that they could achieve, or whatever. Like that's the good range, right? 1150 to 1220, I would have to think. So that's where we're going to try and stick, is in that area. And if we look at the velocity column of all these powders, they're all getting there. They're all getting up there to 1,200 feet per second or a little bit above, except for HS6 and Silhouette. We're just below 1,200. So we've whittled it down to 7 powders, and now we've got to start getting a little bit choosier here. And one that was particularly interesting to me was Blue Dot. Quick Load just did not like Blue Dot. If you look at it, it got to 1,214 feet per second, but that was at 132% case fill. A lot of powder. And it only shows 75% burnt. If we go to the Alliant website, they actually have load data for 124 grain Speer gold dots, overall length of 1.120, basically exactly what we're talking about. CCI 500 primers, those are the primers we're going to use. Basically exactly our scenario. They got 1,238 feet per second out of blue dot. And that was 7.9 grains. Our spreadsheet says 8.1 grains, got us 1214. So either Alliant is lying to us, or Quick Load is not being very accurate for us. And that was a 4-inch barrel on the Alliant website as well. So yeah, I'm a little bit, I don't know, I almost want to test it just to find out who's wrong. Okay, let's start whittling this down. Our best velocity on the spreadsheet, 1,244 feet per second, is power pistol. We're going to shoot power pistol. That's just all there is to it. We are going to shoot power pistol. Now, since we are shooting power pistol, unique is a very, very close cousin to power pistol. Unique would be a great powder for this work. You can see on the spreadsheet, it gets us 1212 feet per second. I shoot 5 grains of unique a lot with 124 grain bullets, and it's kind of my favorite load. And I've shot up to 5.5 grains of unique. And actually, I've got some XTP hollow points loaded up with about 5.4 grains of unique. We might shoot them through the chronograph while we've got it set up, just to see what my old loads, what sort of velocity those guys got. So, although it's my favorite pistol powder, we're not going to shoot unique in this one. We're going to substitute in power pistol because maybe it'll get us a little bit better velocity. Now, from this point, and actually just a few minutes ago, I wasn't planning to do it. I want to shoot blue dot, at least initially, to, just like I was saying, find out whether quick load's right or whether the Alliant data is right. So we're going to shoot some blue dot. I want to shoot Ramshot Silhouette. I had mentioned earlier that I had shot all of the powders except one. Silhouette's the one I haven't shot. I just recently picked up this pound and haven't had a chance to shoot any. So we'll probably start low, work our way up with this guy. But I want to shoot Silhouette. It shows as 1199 feet per second at a charge weight of 5.9. We shall see how it does. And we'll shoot accurate number 7. It shows 1218 feet per second, so we're going to shoot that guy. I think 5 powders is enough. Let's choose one. Well, screw it. We've kind of got 2 Alliant powders and 2 accurate powders. I don't know. There was Western powders, I think. Yeah, Western powders makes Ramshot inaccurate. So I'll tell you what. Screw it. Let's just go with 6 powders. Just for the initial velocity testing, and then what we'll do is we'll trim down the options here in the next round. So that's probably how this video mini series is going to be set up. This video here, we've already talked a lot. I'm going to talk a little bit more, and then what we'll do is load up initial velocity test loads for these 6 powders. And then we'll call it done for this video. Next video, we'll start on the range. We'll shoot these guys through the chronograph. We'll shoot the factory ammo through the chronograph. And then we'll come back in, try to figure out, what we learned from that. And then start trimming it down to maybe 2 or 3 powders. And then start narrowing things down and working up a load. Seeing which ones shoot better and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of the plan here. That's the workflow. Brass. I've kept around this nickel-plated brass, and basically almost all of this is from various boxes of carry ammo that I've shot over the last couple years, and I think that's what we're going to use. And I've got enough to where we'll just go ahead and use Speer. So we'll use nickel-plated brass that were from factory Speer gold dots. It worked well enough for them. It should work well enough for us. And we've got more if we needed some Hornady in here, I think. But yeah, some Hornady, some more Speer. That should be some good brass. We are going to shoot CCI number 500 primers. Basically, Speer and CCI are the same company. I think they yeah, CCI / Speer Operations, Lewiston, Idaho. What up, Lewiston? So I assume that's what Speer uses in their factory ammo, so that's what we're going to use in our little guys as well. We're going to use CCI number 500s. And that's pretty much it. So now that I've picked some powders, let me think this out really quick, and then we'll come back, talk about some load data, and we'll start loading some rounds. Alright, so I just got done checking a couple places. So we've got our quick load data, which we already looked at, right? The spreadsheet. I also checked each of the powder manufacturers' websites to see what sort of numbers they had as max for standard, for their standard loads. And I checked a couple of my manuals just to kind of, just get some more information about if any of these numbers are insane. There's only one that I'm a little bit worried that might be insane, and that is Longshot. Quick load said 6.4, but a lot of the data was much lower. So really going to keep our eye out on Longshot. The others are in the ballpark. They're pretty darn close. The only one, HS6, seemed a little bit, like my data seemed a little bit cold. So I'm not sure if we're going to get up to the velocities we're looking for with HS6. A lot of guys shoot HS6. It is a very, very low volume powder. So like those guys I was telling you about with their hot rod 9mm, they're trying to get to major power factor. This is a very popular powder with them because it's such small, takes up so little case capacity, low volume. So they can stretch out the overall length or shoot it long and then just fill that case with a crap load of HS6, and they get some just freaking goofy velocities. But we got to be a little bit more careful than them. But all right, so I'll tell you what, let's just pop up a little graphic here with some load data. I'm maxing all of them out where quick load told us was max. And I've picked 5 charge weights with each one, and in 0.2 increments. So we're going pretty fine, pretty fine increments here. So even our initial shots should be reasonably hot. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to shoot 2 shots per charge weight. So 10 rounds per powder. Get out there. Initially, I mean, we're basically just looking for velocity. I'm not going to shoot 2-shot groups. It's kind of a waste of time a little bit, but yep. So that's our charge. That's our load data. 2 shots per charge weight. So that'll make 60 shots. Yep, that seems like 60 bullets well spent. All right, so I've got 60 pieces of Speer brass here. So I'm going to start getting these guys resized. Get some primers in them, and then get to loading. Tell you what, while I am resizing these guys, I want to go ahead and flare the case mouth. So Gold Dots are 355 diameter. I resized this guy, right? We'll run it back through just... Yeah, that was resized. And this is the default setting. Yep, so Gold Dots are 355 diameter. So you want to give them a good flare. See how that looks. Yep, I like it. Okay, so resizing and priming is done. Case flaring, mouth flaring is done. We're going to start out with our slowest powder and work toward the fastest. The first one is Power Pistol. Our first charge is 5.7 grains. If you're not familiar with Power Pistol, and if I can get this camera to focus, it is a flake powder. Flakes aren't too huge. Alright, 5.7 grains. I'll get these first two weighed out, and then we'll be ready to set our bullet seating die. Alright, before we do the bullet seating die real quick, I wanted to take some overall length measurements of this factory ammo. Just for the heck of it. 1.120 is what I'm expecting. One 1.118, 1.120, 1.118, 1.120, 1.120, 1.121. Okay. So those were the standard pressure ones. Plus P should be the same. 1.125, 1.125, 1.123. So these might be running a couple thousandths longer, but still 1.124. In that same ballpark, 1.125, 1.124, 1.124. Good deal. All right, we got our first two charges ready, so let's set our bullet seating die. Just making sure we're not scraping any. Looks good. Still very long. Crap. Went too far. 1.110, so I went about 10 thousandths too far. Back that guy out just a touch. Grab my bullet puller and just give this guy a couple pops. .126. Yeah, just I suck at setting bullet seating dies. Okay, 1.128. 1.120. Okay, let's seat this next guy, see if it's about the same. .121. Good enough. So we got our Lee Factory crimp die. Run that guy up in there. Screw it down until it touches. And yeah, we'll go about a half turn. Usually makes for a halfway decent crimp. Okay, that's a good looking round. Same thing there. Good deal. So our first powder here, power pistol, our highest charge is going to be compressed, and according to quick load, it's going to be about 108%, so about 8% compressed. So when I get to that highest charge, probably the last two charges, I really need to watch my overall length, make sure it doesn't grow any because of the compressing charge. Sometimes you'll see that. Okay, no overall length issues with our first 10 rounds with power pistol here. I'm running out of time. I'm going to have to finish these up tomorrow evening. But I want to hurry up and get this video uploaded. So I think we'll just end it here. And if I have any issues, I can't imagine I will, I'll let you know about it in the next video. One thing I showed you the how power pistol looked. So I'll run through the rest of them and give you a look at the powder in case you're curious about that. Alright, starting on the left is power pistol again. See if I can zoom in just a touch. Next to it is HS6. There's Ramshot Silhouette. There is Blue Dot with the little blue dots in it. Accurate number 7. And down on the end is Longshot. None of these are particularly large powders. They all meter reasonably well. I guess Blue Dot would probably be the largest. Yep, not much to see here. Alright, so I think that covers it. Next video will be up very soon. If you're watching this shortly after it is posted, it should just be a matter of days before we can get out to the range and see how these shoot. If you're watching this a while after it's posted, you should check out the 9mm playlist up there. Links down in the description. You know the drill, all that crap. But I'm hoping we're going to hone in on some nice loads. And, like I said in my safety lecture earlier, this is just stuff to be careful about. Take away what you can maybe from my process, or get an idea of how much research and testing or whatever I'm doing. Maybe that's a takeaway, but the actual load data, not smart to copy. Definitely not smart. And you really probably shouldn't undertake something like this without a chronograph. So just be safe. Alright, I will see you guys next time.